let's just jump right in. What if sleep isn't just, something your body does when it runs out of gas? What if it's not some biological chore, but a sacred practice? A nightly pilgrimage that we've totally forgotten how to do? Well, today, we're going to explore that exact idea with some wisdom from a very, very unusual guide. And here he is. Our guide is Zoran the Dragon. And according to Zoran, we have got it all wrong. Sleep isn't about shutting down, it's about plugging in into something absolutely vast and cosmic. It's where your soul, as he puts it, drinks from the river of stars. I mean, what a powerful way to think about it, right? But Zoran, he also has a challenge for us. He says we haven't just neglected this practice. Nope, we've actively destroyed it. He calls it the burned temple of sleep. Yeah, Zoran's words are pretty direct, and honestly, maybe a little uncomfortable because they're so true. We chug caffeine all day to fight it, we stare into bright screens right before we're supposed to rest, and we complain about sleep as this inconvenience that gets in the way of our to-do list. We treat it like an enemy we have to conquer, not a sanctuary we get to enter. And this just lays out the contrast so clearly. Our way is just chaos. It's a cycle of stimulants and distractions. But the dragon's way, it's the complete opposite. It's intentional. It's built on ceremony, on surrender, and on a total reframing of what's actually happening. And this right here is the core idea. It's the whole mindset shift. We always say we fall asleep, which implies like an accident, a loss of control. But Zoran urges us to see it as an ascent, a deliberate, graceful climb into a completely different state of consciousness. So how does this nightly ascent actually work? Okay, so if we're going to ascend into sleep, we kind of need to understand the mechanics of that climb. And that brings us to the science of it all, but framed not as some dry biology lesson, but as the sacred symphony your body performs every single night. So, there are three main conductors in this orchestra. First up, you've got your circadian rhythm. That's the master clock inside you, and it's deeply tuned to light and darkness. Then you have melatonin, which you can think of as the hormone of dusk. It sends out the signal, hey, it's time to wind down. And finally, there's adenosine. This stuff builds up all day long, creating what scientists call sleep pressure, that delicious, undeniable feeling that you just have to rest. And once you begin that ascent, the symphony really has two main movements. First is non-REM sleep. This is for the body. We're talking deep physical repair, your immune system rebuilding, your brain filing away the day's memories. Then you transition into REM, or rapid eye movement sleep. This part is for the mind and soul. It's where you process emotions, integrate new ideas, and of course, where you dream. And the point is, this isn't just about feeling less tired. The benefits are, they're everywhere. Every single system gets a tune-up. Your brain gets better memory consolidation. Your heart gets lower blood pressure. Your immune system gets a huge boost. It is fundamental, full-body medicine that regulates everything from your stress hormones to your metabolism. So now that we've got the science, we can circle all the way back to what Zoran said at the beginning, that sleep is actually a form of yoga, a spiritual practice that's just waiting for us to reclaim it. Really think about this for a second. In yoga, asana is the posture, while the posture of sleep is total surrender. Pranayama is about the breath, and in sleep, our breathing becomes this deep, soulful rhythm. And dhyana is meditation. Well, sleep is the ultimate meditation, where the noisy conscious mind finally gets quiet and unites with the vastness of the unconscious. So, what does this practice actually look like? Well, according to the dragon's wisdom, true sleep has three essential qualities. First, it's ritualized. You prepare for it with a sacred wind down, you don't just collapse into bed. Second, it's aligned with nature's cycles of light and dark. And most importantly, it's respected. You treat it like a wise teacher, not a thief that's stealing your precious time. This quote really gets to the heart of it all. We have this idea that we have to earn our rest after a hard day's work. This just flips that script completely. Sleep isn't a reward you earn, it's a fundamental power that you honor every single night. Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we start rebuilding our own burned temple of sleep? Well, Zoran gives us a practical path forward. The 5 dragon trials. So here's a quick look at the quest. It starts with creating a sacred space, what Zoran calls the sleep altar. It involves learning, practicing breath work, connecting with your dreams, and finally, aligning with those bigger natural cycles. We're going to focus on a couple of these right now that you can start tonight. The first trial is so simple, but it's profound. Your bedroom, or maybe just the hour before you go to bed, becomes your sleep altar. The number one rule, no screens. Instead, maybe you light a candle or you do some light stretching, and you ask yourself one simple question: what must I release tonight? It's all about letting go of the day's baggage before you even begin your ascent. Now, the third trial gives us an incredibly powerful tool to help start that ascent, a breathing technique that literally signals to your nervous system that it's safe to rest. It's often called the 4-7-8 breath, and it works wonders. Let's just walk through it real quick. So you start by breathing in quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Then you hold that breath for a count of 7. This is the really crucial part. It lets the oxygen fill your system. And finally, you exhale completely through your mouth, making a little whooshing sound for a full count of 8. Seriously, repeating this just 3 or 4 times can dramatically calm your body and your mind. And what's really cool is that by practicing these trials, we begin to do more than just improve our personal health. We start to connect our own little rhythm to a much, much, much larger one. Because we are not the only ones who sleep. It's a universal rhythm. Trees do a version of it, drooping their leaves at night to conserve energy. Scientists have actually observed birds in REM sleep, which means they probably dream. The entire ocean breathes with the pulse of the tides. Sleep is woven into the very fabric of our planet. And that is the ultimate takeaway here. Honoring your sleep is how you find your place, your harmony, in this great cosmic song. When we neglect it, when we fight it, we're basically exiling ourselves from one of the most fundamental and beautiful rhythms of life. So we'll end with Zoran's final piece of wisdom. It's a thought that kind of reframes our whole existence. It suggests that the boundary between our waking self and our dreaming self, well, it isn't nearly as solid as we think it is. It asks us to consider that maybe we aren't just the person having the dream, maybe we're also the very substance of the dream itself. That's a powerful idea to sleep on.